Welcome to the Hair Curler Chronicles. It's Tim and Nancy Danter coming to you from our living room. Did I do it wrong? Tim and Nancy Danter coming to you from our living room. And today we got a really special guest, one of my dearest, closest besties, Debi Peltola-Salmons. Did I get
I love it. I got the whole name from you. That's awesome.
Yes.
And I'm coming to you from my kitchen corner office, not the living room.
In one of my favorite places on the face of the earth, Vero Beach, Florida, which is why I'm doing all this side hustle, is eventually to get a place down there, probably sitting right on top of Debi in her backyard.
Exactly. Listen, you have to have reasons for everything you do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, and sometimes you just have to be willing to know that there is a reason, but you don't know why there's a reason.
That's for sure. We're going to get to share a lot of that, aren't we?
So I think maybe what we'll start with today is, it's the reason that I invited Debi on here is because Debi's an expert at the side hustle. And in my opinion, she's the expert at the side hustle, but I may be a little biased. Anyway, so I thought what we would do, because considering our YouTube channel or our journey is all about how do you create wealth from zero, nothing down, to creating something in 1 year. What can you do from scratch to nothing? And so you know because you're my bestie that
Yep.
I've been crafting like a crazy lunatic. I've been on Facebook.
That might be a little bit of an understatement, but sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, and Facebook Marketplace flipping, a little bit of that too. So we've been doing some side hustle, making some money. We will eventually talk about how to save money. But
yep.
I thought maybe it would be a good idea for us to kind of talk a little bit about how you evaluate side hustles and all that sort of stuff. But before we jump into all of that, maybe you could just tell the audience or the viewers how you and I actually met.
Oh, you want me to share that, do you?
Yeah.
Yes, no, it was good. It was a side hustle, right? It was a side hustle. I've always had a side hustle. And you know what's funny is I've had reason to think about that recently. I've been doing a lot of speaking about it. And I started thinking that it was my dad that started me with a side hustle. Like, it's one of my earliest memories it was a box of cards. He had me sell cards, right? Because I wanted a new bike, right? So the side hustle idea has just always been there. And then I watched my dad always have a side hustle. You know, he could do whatever. He had his main occupation, but he'd be painting a house, or he'd be wallpapering, or he'd be doing this or that. So it's just always been in my head. So yes, so you and I, what's really funny to me is that our side hustle that we met in is the area that I think you and I would agree is not necessarily our strongest suit, which is the electronics domain. Not exactly our strongest suit, but the good news is, I think, Nance, and we can give ourselves a little pat on the back, is we're always open to learning new things and seeing things that, might be different and new and different, and evaluating whether that might be something that, we think might really take off, right? That people really might be interested in. Certainly, I've made lots of mistakes on that realm as well. But digital marketing, I mean, that's actually the term now. I don't even think we had that term, did we?
No, but I thought it was, when I saw it, I thought it was brilliant. I honestly, from a traditional business point of view, because guess what? My darling friend, we're about to have our 10th anniversary together. That was 10 years ago this October.
Oh my gosh. So that's how we met, was through the side hustle of digital marketing, where we did video emails, right? And then we met, it wasn't even, did we have Zoom? It might've been Skype. I don't even know. Oh, we had our own conferencing platform.
Yeah, that's how we met.
So we actually met in the box. Just like this, we met in the box. And a 10-year friendship sprung out of that, right? But we have funny stories about that. Like, I know you've got some, but one of my favorites is the West story. Sorry.
Okay, but I think we should tell the story because I think it's funny.
Okay, you want to know the West story first? Because, you know, I don't know if I'm going out of order, but it's just, you know, I don't know how many years we knew each other. Maybe not even quite a year.
Wasn't even a full year.
It wasn't even a full year. And so we were getting to know each other on a digital platform like this, you know, a whole team of people getting to know each other. And they decided our company was going to have an event down in Florida, in Tampa, where everybody would meet in person. So let's see, that was 10, 11, 12 years ago. Okay. So the reason for this story is Nancy decides to come to the States and go to that convention. And, you know, myself and a couple other people that she met in the box said, we'll pick you up. We'll take you to the event. Well, Wesley was just a tad concerned about that. And Nancy and I laughed so hard because we were teaching our children not to do exactly what we were about to do.
That's right. He goes, what do you think? What do you think it would be like if I met some strangers online and said, oh, don't worry, Mom, they're picking me up at the airport. We're going to go to a concert in Chicago. Don't give it to second thought. He goes, how do you think I feel? He goes, what if they show up at the airport with duct tape and rope? So I get to the airport, we're putting the bags in the car, and Debbie's husband, Billy, pulls out the duct tape and the rope, and we start to laugh. Anyway.
We thought that we might take a fake image and send it to Wesley, but I knew enough about Wesley at that point that we thought it would cause permanent damage to his sight.
He might have been traumatized.
So we didn't do that.
No, but that business really and truly, although I never made oodles of money with that piece of business, it helped us in two ways. Well, three ways really. First way was we were 10 years ago, we were in financial crisis still. And we had our small business, and I was trying to think up any way and every way that I could market us differently than our competitor. And I thought that digital email was absolutely phenomenal. No, it was a video email. And I haven't, you know, even to this day, nothing else has been as good as that. I don't see it. I don't even see it. And it was a great product. I still actually would like to use it. Oh, me too. But and then the other thing, so not only that, but we were precursor to this Zoom thing. So when Zoom came out now in the pandemic, it was no skin off my nose. We've been doing this thing for 10 years. 10 years.
It wasn't. We weren't as scared of it as some people were.
Not even remotely. But
it also helped you with Tim.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Tim ended up using that technology, and that's how he did a video of himself and sent it into the casting call for the TV show.
No, I did it as a follow-up. I did a audition for This Worst Driver because they were in the arena of looking for a new driving instructor and panel expert. So I went and I did the interview and stuff like that. And I thought at the time I was up against some pretty good competition, and they were all fellow peers and stuff like that. And Nancy said, well, why don't you go and send them a video conference email? And it's like, I went out to the driveway, sat in the car, sent it to them, and blammo.
I love it because you made yourself stand out, right? I mean, and Nance, I've heard you teach that lesson so much because I know you're really a great out-of-the-box marketer and thinker. And you've said that so much. You have to make yourself stand out somehow. So that's exactly what that did. So that's the good thing about side hustles, right? I mean, I think sometimes people think that, well, you know, maybe I wasn't hugely successful at this one or that one, but I've learned something from every single side hustle that I've ever done. And even if it feels negative, you can turn that into a positive. You just flip it. It's a lesson. It's a lesson learned. It's something to propel you forward, something to know that you know, that doesn't work, something that does work, right? You just have to take the lesson or the gift out of every single thing. And then of course we got each other. So that's the best thing.
That was invaluable if for no other reason.
Exactly right. I tell everybody still, I go, I got the best friend I didn't know I was missing.
That's it. I didn't know I needed you until I had to start to do a side hustle. So that's and you've been doing these little side hustles for, well, I know how long how long I've been doing them. So you've been doing it pretty much Like
actually, I mean, I'm not kidding when I say forever, but if you want to think about like, you know, adulthood, you know, when you're actually adulting and, you know, responsible for yourself, I would say that I seriously started with them in 1992. And I've rarely stopped having a side hustle. The only time that I kind of did, as you know, was the 10-year period where I was taking care of my parents. But other than that, I've always had at least one, and actually more than one.
Yeah.
More than one. Because kind of like what you're doing, like with the crafting and stuff that you're doing and showing, I mean, I did that too. At one point in time, I was living in the Keys and I had one business side hustle, you know, regular marketing. But then I really loved painting and stuff at that time. And I made jewelry, and I'm living in the Keys and I sold a little of that as well. Right. So it gave me a little bit of balance so that I was actually doing something that was relaxing and fun, but it made me a few bucks here and there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, always. And I don't know, I have a feeling, you've said it to me before, I've kind of tried to like get out of, you know, being an entrepreneur and doing things and just say, oh, that's it, I'm all done, I'm retired. And you just always very kindly look at me and go, okay, that's good. And wait for me to call you up and say, oh, hey, guess what? I'm gonna do something else.
I know. But okay, you've been really good when we're together, you usually tell people you're on holidays too. So it's been pretty good that way, you know.
I know. But it's, you know, it's like this. I was brought up with thinking about it. I think COVID and everything that's happened in the world has made everybody think about it. And you guys, you know, you've got put in that situation for many, you know, for reasons that were out of your control in the past as well. So did I. I mean, there were times where my life was really, really great. You know, people would say, wow, you've got it all. And then we had the real estate crisis way back when. And that was, I know you guys had the same thing. That was ugly. But the good news was, while my husband had the full-time job that was, you know, the larger income, I was still doing the side hustles while I was bringing up the kids. So when all of that happened and he actually, you know, lost his job back then, I was able to sustain us for almost 2 years solid on what I had earned and had put in the bank from the side hustle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, somebody that likes a little bit of security, it sounds a little different because, you know, most people think a 9-to-5 job is the security. But for me, just knowing that I could always get my hands on a side hustle and always make something. Because the one thing I can say is I've only ever been involved in one company that I didn't always make everything I invested plus some back. Only one. And that was actually the very first one I was ever in. And I consider it a university, you know, so it was like, it was okay.
Yeah, no, true. So your side hustle more or less has been in the world of referral marketing or network marketing. Yep. Or
or as they now call it, the new name is relationship marketing.
Oh, relationship marketing, all of that sort of stuff. And and I mean, and that has many nuances to it. And so I guess maybe and we've done them too. And I just sort of wanted to get your take on how you evaluate a good company versus a bad company, because it kind of gets wrapped up into this, well, it's a pyramid scheme. People won't look at it. It's a pyramid scheme. But, and you and I both know, because we've had some experience with it, that, you know, some companies can come off like that. So then it seems to paint everything with the same brush. And sort of, how would you not sell it, but how would you talk about relationship marketing to somebody, and how do they evaluate a good company?
You know, that's a good question. And yes, we certainly, we both know, we've been involved in similar companies and a couple of the same that didn't, you know, go the way we had hoped. And it's a difficult question because as you look over the years, or as I look over the years, where I was at the time, what companies were kind of out and available, what the world climate was, right? That affects everything, right? So it still also, it affects, you know, again, whether you want to call it network marketing, multi-level marketing, relationship marketing, whatever you want to call it, you know, it's marketing. You know, it's a business model to sell a product, right? And I mean, that's literally what it is. And the reason, just so you know, to back up, the reason I like it is because I've had traditional businesses where I had to buy every single thing. Back in the 80s, I had a clothing store, and you have to do it all yourself, right? I mean, you've got to figure out the marketing, you've got to figure out your products, you've got to decorate the brick and mortar store, you've got to do your own accounting. Every single thing you kind of have to research and go out and do it. And it's pretty shocking, and you guys know this, how the costs add up. And, you know, and then sometimes you hit the wrong one. Like nowadays, you hit the wrong one to create a website for you, and it's really not very good. Or you hire somebody to create a funnel for you, and the funnel doesn't work, right? So back then, you didn't have any options, or, you know, I didn't. When I discovered relationship marketing, and I went, oh, wait a minute, the company is actually the one doing all of that. They're in charge of the branding and the logos, and at the time, whatever materials, the marketing materials, the product development, all of that. And basically you get to go out and you just sell or share the product, right? Or service, whichever it is. So to me, having come off of doing it all, I said, it's exhausting, right? It's exhausting. So it was a much easier way. And the truth is, it is still a minimal investment, even in some of what, you know, we look at as some of the high-end companies, because there's some companies out there that literally market machinery that are set up in network marketing, and these products are $8,000-$10,000, right? So you can go anywhere from a product that's that high-end to a product that's 50 cents, right?
Yeah.
So your investment as a potential business owner and an entrepreneur varies. So yeah. Why do I tell you that? That's your first order of business, right? How much disposable income do you have to invest in a business and a side hustle, right? Because I was taught by my dad, whatever you invest, you've got to be okay losing it. You've got to, and I just, for me personally, now there's probably people that disagree with that, and that's perfectly fine. For me, that works because that takes some of the stress out of it, right? So that's why so many network marketing companies have different levels in which you can join so that people, you know, can feel safer. And my first order of business was always to be able to make back whatever that initial investment was. That's all I cared about, was making that back. So then, okay, that pressure's off, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things you need to know looking at a side hustle is what type of money are you willing to invest? Because there's such a variety. The second one, it's a double-edged sword. A lot of people like to look for companies that have been in business for a good amount of time. Absolutely a great idea because there's a track record. There's a really good track record. This is no different than stocks though, right? There's a bigger return on your investment if you get in with a company that's new or just starting, right? Because you're going to be involved in the beginning and the creation of that company and at the top, so to speak, right? So your return on that risk is apt to be a lot better. But if you're somebody that is not comfortable with risk, then you should look at the time and the amount of time that company has been in business. And we have this good old internet. I absolutely look up the owners and the CEOs of the company. I absolutely look them up. It's not hard to do. Use social media in every which way you can and look up who's running the company. The next thing I would do is if you know someone or you can somehow get in contact with someone, not through the company, but, hey, Nance, your cousin knows somebody that's been in that company. Speak to them. Ask them what they have to say, right? Because if you go through the company, listen, it's no different than, this is business. They're going to put their best face forward, right? The last thing that's really important, but honestly sounds crazy. It's not the most vital component. It's the compensation plan. you've got to take a look at the compensation plan. And if you've never been in a network marketing or a multi-level marketing or relationship marketing company, that pay plan is going to look foreign to you, because it's not like a traditional job where you get paid 9 to 5. This is your hourly wage. Or even if you're a salaried person, but you know you've got a bonus schedule, right? A compensation plan in multi-level marketing looks very different to most people. So here's what I encourage people to do. Do not be afraid to say you don't understand it, and make someone explain it to you until you do. Because in the long run, it's really important. And a lot of people just kind of get excited and get started and they get going, and then they go, well, wait a minute. I thought I was going to make this, or I thought that. You've got to be clear. I don't think it's probably any different, Nancy, than you in the corporate world when you're speaking to somebody and you're negotiating a salary, right? You need to understand, what is it based on? What are you getting paid on? Same thing.
Yeah.
So those are my top things. I hope that helps.
That's really good. And I think you and I've talked about this over the years, that a lot of times, if you really like the product, you can come into one of these companies and not build it as a multi-level business. If you like the product,
absolutely,
you can just go and sell the product. And I think it comes down to knowing how much money you actually want to make. Like some people, they're just looking to make their $100 a month extra that they can put into investments. They know that they've worked out how much they need to save every month for retirement, and they just need that extra $100. So maybe that's a one home party and they sell a bunch of stuff and then they're done for the month, and I'm okay, I'm good. I don't need any more than that. Some people, it's like they've got pie in the sky dreams, and there's nothing wrong with either one of those scenarios, but you can still just sell product if that's
and that's why this business model is so good, is because it doesn't matter. I'm in network marketing companies that I am only in it because I love the product. And as you know, being a member, I get a preferred rate, right? And then for some of them, well, if somebody else buys a product, well, then just like you're saying, mine's free. But I have no intention of recruiting people into that or anything. But you're absolutely right. Knowing what you're looking for to start with is really important as well. Because like you say, if you're just looking for a free product, you got that. If you're looking to make $100, or maybe you're just looking to buy a new car, you want to make the car payment. Right. This business model covers it all of it.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
so
great.
It's good. Yeah,
no. And you know what, that's why I wanted you to come on and do a little episode with us and talk about how you evaluate a side hustle, and sort of the ins and outs of it. So that was really, really good explanation. Hoping we can do this another video soon. And thanks for joining.
Next time we'll let Tim talk.
Thanks, Debbie.
No, we won't. Who are we kidding?
Yeah, right.
Bye, guys.
Are you gonna?
Okay.